A very good morning to all the students of class 12th political science. And students, I hope you all are fine at your homes and also you are studying as your half-yearly exams, that is term first, are approaching from 17th of September, and already your timetable and syllabus has been forwarded to your homework portal of the software Ursel as well as to your WhatsApp group, class WhatsApp group. So I hope you have started studying, and very soon from the maybe from the next lecture we will start our revision for the term first. Okay, so but today I want to finish this particular topic for this chapter, otherwise this will be pending. As you know, we were doing the fourth chapter of our second book, that is politics in India since independence, and we were into this second part of the fourth chapter, whose name is India's foreign policy. As you know, this name has also been revised according to the new CBSE syllabus, the revised syllabus. Previously it was the India's external relations, but now we were studying only India's foreign policy. So we had already discussed the meaning of foreign policy, aims and objectives of our foreign policy according to the directive principles of state policy in Article 51, as I told you. Then we had discussed some internal factors as well as some international factors, or we can say external factors, which were very much important or relevant to the foreign policy, because while developing our foreign policy we had to keep in mind and we had to be in close contact with the domestic problems as well as the external problems and prevailing situations outside in the outside world. So we had discussed about it, and I shall take a short revision what we have done in the last video. I shall give you the short points regarding that. So as I told you in the last video, the very much important thing is a question which has been put here: what is a foreign policy? This is the most important, and you need to understand the meaning of foreign policy completely to understand this basic concept of this chapter, India's foreign policy. If I say India's foreign policy, means how, what kind of relations India want to have with its neighboring countries or any countries around the world in terms of trade, economy, culture, whatever, maybe military alliances. So what type of foreign relations India shall be having? So we are talking about the time period when India got independence in 1947, and immediately after that when India tried to construct it or develop its foreign policy, the factors which were most important were, so three factors are very much important for any country to develop its foreign policy, and those three are national interest and domestic factors and external factors. External factors means international factors or international context, we can call them. So if we see the definition of foreign policy now, it would be very much easier for you to understand the definition of foreign policy if I'm taking it generally for any country. So for any country, the foreign policy reflects the interest of its nation and interplay of domestic and external factors. So if you are talking about the foreign policy of India, so three things are very important: that what are the interest of our nation from the outside relations with the other countries, what are the interests of our nation. So here we will not conclude or include the interest of a particular group or particular religion or particular political party. Here those things will be included which are of the interest and importance and requirement of all or the whole as a nation. So such factors will be included in the foreign policy, along with what we will have to see: what are the interplay of, what are the domestic condition of our country at that particular time of when we are developing our foreign policy, what are the economic conditions of our state, what are the social cultural status of our states, are there any communal violence, are there, what is the poverty rate, what is the education system in India. So all these factors are to be included when we are framing or developing our foreign policy, along with in national interest. Plus, after domestic factors, we also have to see what are the prevailing conditions in the outside world, okay, in terms of economy, political, social, or boundaries issues, wars. These things are to be seen and deeply studied, and after concluding all that we have to frame our foreign policy accordingly. So all these three factors are really very important: interest of the nation, domestic factors, as well as external factors. And this I had already discussed in the last video, that what were the external problems at the time of the independence of India, when we were trying to develop our foreign policy. Like there was end of end of the Second World War, start of the Cold War. There were two alliances, so there was a tension between the two poles. Decolonization of countries after the Second World War. So these were the external factors which were going the outside in the world. So India has to accordingly develop its foreign policy. Then I had discussed some of the internal context or the internal factors which were available or which were prevalent at the time of the independence. The first was partition of our country, communal violence was going on, legacy of international dispute, task of poverty elevation, making people or bringing people out of the cycle of poverty. So these were the situations and factors prevalent at the time of the independence. So I hope you must have understood the meaning of foreign policy and three factors which are important: internal context, international context, and interest of the nation. So all these three factors play a very important role in developing the foreign policy of any country. Then we saw what are the aims of our foreign policy, and in the aims of the foreign policy we saw that how in the Article 51 under directive principles of the state policy has declared, has or related the maintenance of internal peace and security is generally looked upon as the aim of Indian foreign policy. So according to this article, the aim of Indian foreign policy is to maintain international peace and security. Okay, and under that we read these four important points which we, after reading, we said and we understood that India's foreign policy was not aggressive at all. We just wanted to bring peace and decorum and security to our nation, and also promote peace and decorum and security in the outside world. Now we will move forward. So this is the part second of your this chapter number 4. So part second, and the topic for the day is India's outlined 5 principles of Indian foreign policy are known as Panchasheel. So there are 5 important principles. In Hindi we call them Siddhant. So what were those important principles of Indian foreign policy on which our policy is the basic or is the base of our foreign policy? Or we can say the base or the foreign policy is based on these particular principles, 5 principles, and these 5 principles are: mutual respect for each other's territorial integrity and sovereignty, as we have already read in the aims and objectives of the foreign policy of India, as in the Article 51 under the directive principles of state policy we have read. In this also it's written the same thing. These 5 are the principles of our Indian foreign policy. So it is a basic structure on which our foreign policy is being developed. Okay, so in the coming time, the external factors can change, the situations around the countries can change, the domestic situations of our country will keep changing. So these external and internal factors are, I can say, dynamic in nature, which keep changing with time. But these 5 principles on which our foreign policy has been developed, these are static in nature. Although we will keep changing our foreign policy, but the base and the principles on which the new foreign policy will be concluded or developed, these 5 principles will remain the same. So they are dynamic in static in nature, that cannot change, but the external and internal factors will keep changing with passage of time. So we can make changes in them, but we cannot make changes in these 5 principles. Second is non-aggression. We will never have a foreign policy which will show aggression to the other nations. We will respect the sovereignty of the other nations. Non-interference of each other internal affairs. We will not interfere in the internal affairs of the neighboring countries or any countries around the world. This would be our foreign policy plan to build our relations with our other countries. Equality and mutual benefit. We will try to maintain equality and equal benefit with the neighboring countries or any partners in relation to trade or commerce. Peaceful coexistence. We will maintain peace, decorum within our country, in our neighboring countries. We will not be involved in any activities which will lead to destruction, war, or creating imbalance in the surrounding areas of our country especially. So we will live with peaceful coexistence. So these 5 are the important principles. Now the next important topic coming up is India's links with outside world before independence. So we are talking about the India's link with the outside world, with the other countries. What were the connection with of India before the independence? You have to note here, we are talking about before independence. Okay, so first, India's struggle for independence influenced the liberation movement for many Asian and African country. So as we know, when the freedom struggle was going on in our country, there were so many revolts and against the British rule. So it was very popular around the world. Everybody knew that there is a popular movement going on around the in India against the British rule, which was the India as a colony of British. So it was very much popular. Everybody knew what were the situation and prevalent or the prevailing situation in India. So as many freedom struggle fighters or leaders of our country, they were very well known at the world level, like Mahatma Gandhi, Nehru ji, etc., many more. So they had various links with the outside world. So that is why it's written, India's struggle for independence influenced the liberation movement. So as the other colonies, India was not the only colony under British rule. There were many colonies in India as or whole Asia, Africa and Latin America. And these colonies were under, like we were under British, some were under Portuguese, Dutch regime. So in Africa also there were many colonies, many countries under the as a colonism, in Latin America also and in Asia also. So from the example of India, they were motivated that how they have to protest for the liberation movement. So many countries in Asia and Africa wanted a freedom struggle same like India. Okay, so they were very much influenced by us. Next is, there were contacts between nationalist leader of India and those of other colonies. Of course, there were contacts between our nationalist leaders and the leaders of the other colonies, not the Britishers or the Dutch or the Portuguese or the France people, but among the colonies. These were the small nations which were under these colonial rule, and so there was a contact between national leaders of the colonies amongst themselves. Next point is the creation of, under this same topic, India's links with outside world before independence. Third is the creation of Indian National Army. So there was a creation or establishment of Indian National Army. The first army by Subhash Chandra Bose was a clear manifestation of such linkages. So this was, we can say, an example or a proof that India's freedom leaders or nationalist leaders had a linkage or the contacts with the other colonies or outside world. So this is an example where we established Indian National Army with the help of the other countries other than India. So we can see these linkages here. Then the next point comes up, the policy of non-alignment. As you have already learned and read this particular non-alignment as a policy, or we can say this was one of the foreign policy also of India, and you have already read in this in chapter number 1 of your first part, that contemporary world politics, when we were reading about Cold War. Under this was the alignment, non-alignment movement which India had adopted as to be aloof or isolated or be apart from any of the two camps, where India did not wanted to join any of the military camps that is led by the US and the other was led by USSR. Here India joined this particular program, that was non-alignment. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was the chief architect of India's foreign policy. If we say, he had played the most important and influential role in developing the foreign policy of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. So he is also called as the chief architect of India's foreign policy. And the objective, what was his objective to develop the foreign policy? As we have already read, I am repeating here, preserving sovereignty. You must be knowing the meaning of sovereignty, as I have already explained you many times. Here this means when a country or a nation is free from the outside rule. Like previously we were a colony of British, so we were not sovereign and we did not have any right and control over our resources, over our government. We had no participation and no representation in the government functioning, so we were not sovereign. But after we got independence, we were sovereign. We could make our own government, we could make our own economics, political, social plans, policies. So we were sovereign. So the first objective of our foreign policies was to preserve India's sovereignty, which was very hard earned, protection of territorial integrity. If I say about protection of territorial integrity, as we had already read in the first chapter of this book, where we read about challenges to nation building, and we read a topic about state reorganization. So we read how the princely states were merged with the Indian Union. So here India did not wanted that its territory should be divided into more number of states, but we wanted to protect territorial integrity. We wanted all the states to be united, and we wanted security from the outside world. Promotion of rapid economic development, this was the first aim. We need to have rapid economic development, because at that time there was we were in this poverty elevation. We wanted to remove poverty. We wanted our people to come out of the cycle of this poverty. So this was one of the objective, that was we wanted fast economic development. Hence India adopted NAM to stay away from any military blocks. So here India wanted to achieve these objectives through the strategy of non-alignment. So with the strategy of non-alignment, India wanted to achieve these objectives of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru for its foreign policy of India, to obtain or to achieve preserving sovereignty, protection of territorial integrity, promotion of rapid economic development. To achieve these objectives, okay, we wanted to follow the strategy of non-alignment. Okay, so this is the importance here. Now Nehru's role. Nehru was the first prime minister of India and his own foreign minister. He was the first prime minister also, just after independence, and he was also the foreign minister. So he exercised considerable influence in laying down the foundations of Indian foreign policy. So he had played a very important role in laying down or developing the basic foundation and structure of our foreign policy, the very first foreign policy. So the three major objectives of Nehru foreign policy are, so as we have already learned the three, but it's written here. If the question comes for 2 marks or 1 marks, you will have to write all three in such a way that these were the three objectives of Nehru's foreign policy. So, okay, first was preserve hard-earned sovereignty. I have already explained you what do we understand by hard-earned sovereignty. Second was to protect territorial integrity of India. This also I have explained you. To promote rapid economic development. This also I have explained you. Although in a paragraph I already had written all these, but if the question comes for 2 marks or 1 marks, you will have to present it in this way. These are the three objectives of Nehru's foreign policy, as he played the most important role in developing the foreign policy of India just after independence. So he was also called the architect of our Indian foreign policy. So I hope you would have understood these points. So, and in the next video I shall be starting the next important topic, that would be features of Nehru's foreign policy. Objectives and aims we have seen of our foreign policy. We have seen the objectives of Nehru's foreign policy, which he wanted to achieve with the strategy of non-alignment. But now we shall see the features of Nehru's foreign policy, under which we will study 3 points: distance from two camps, non-alignment, and Afro-Asian unity. Okay, till then, bye, take care.